How's it going there, YouTube? This is ODC, that's me, and I'm back with another action figure review. This is my review of the DCUC Wave 3 Collect and Connect figure, Solomon Grundy figure. And I'm super excited about having this figure. It was actually shipped to me in pieces, which is always a plus. I always like having the chance of putting the Build-A-Figure or Collect and Connect figure together. And so thank you to the seller. He gave me an awesome deal. I believe his original price was $78 and he sold to me for $70 shipped. So big pickup here. He is on my list and he will be number 56, I believe. So I'm so happy to have that. I think we're down to 55 figures now. So getting closer, getting much closer. So I'm making a dent this month in the list. So but he does have a lot of sculpting. There's a lot going on, and he is a bigger than you think he is. A lot of like I've seen tons of like auctions with pictures of him, and you don't really get a good idea of how big he actually is. He actually stands 9 inches tall, even actually, and so he's pretty big. I'll do some quick size comparisons for Solomon Grundy. Here he is. I don't know what that voice is. Some weird old man voice. But here is the first size comparison, which is Validus. And he's pretty much on par with Validus. Validus might be maybe just a little bit taller than him, but not by much. And Validus is considered a bigger Collect and Connect figure. So there you go. There's that. I'll bring in Ironmonger since I just did this review today. So he towers over Ironmonger. So there you go. There's that. And the last one I'll do is Mr. Ben. I'm going to pump you up. Wow. I don't know what that voice was. But yeah, so he does tower over Bane. So I think he is in scale. I was worried that he was going to be much shorter, like Bane size, but Bane is the right size for him, but not for Solomon Grundy. I would prefer if Grundy is much bigger. I mean, he's nowhere near the DC Collectibles size. That was 13 inches, so he's 4 inches shorter than that size, but still, nonetheless, a very good figure, and I'm glad to have him in my collection. And I'll put him with my Batman Rogues Gallery probably immediately. So, with that being said, let's get to his articulation. His head does move side to side. It can do a full 360, so there you go. His head doesn't really move up that much, and it does look down very nicely, but you really you really have to wedge his hair back onto his his collar here of his coat to get his head to stay upright perfectly. His arms do go up, they go down, they can do a full 360. He also has a bicep swivel, a single bend at the elbow, and he does have a wrist rotation which is covered, which I like, is covered up by his sleeve here. Jesus. He does have an ab crunch which is very stiff, so I don't want to mess with it, but it is there. He does have a waist swivel which works nice. He has T-joint hips which go out, forward, and back nicely. An upper thigh swivel, which is there. A single bend at the knee, an ankle hinge, and ankle pivot. So ankle pivot is meant to be there, and it is there to balance these bigger guys. So he does stand nicely and very easily. And I think I'm really happy. I actually was fortunate to find him for such a cheap price because he goes for like $130, over $100. I've seen him for $99, and I was like, that's still too much for me. I couldn't do it. So, but 70 bucks is worth it, I think, especially if you have to buy, you know, what was it, 5 other figures just to get this guy. And I believe in the wave he came with was Deathstroke, Sinestro, Robin, Tim Drake Robin, Nightwing, and the Green Lantern. So that was the whole wave. It was actually a pretty nice wave. Yeah, so if I had to rate this figure, I'm probably going to give him a 9. I think he's very well done. There's lots of sculpting going on here with his beat up suit. right there and here. You got a lot of shading going on right here with his ripped and torn suit. And there's actually more sculpting going on here in his jacket. So there you go. Looks pretty good. There's a lot of shading going on in the lower portion of his jacket, I wanted to point out also. A lot of wear and tear. It looks like there's a little bit of gray and brown maybe in there. Also on his boots as well, on his pant leg right here, on his cuffs, or his sleeves I should say. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, and I think he's a very nice addition. If, like I said, if you have to choose between this and DC Collectibles, I would much rather go DC Collectibles for $70. I think you're getting more bang for your buck. But this is still a nice figure. It also is a much older figure too. So with that being said, I'm going to stick with my 9. Actually, I might raise him up to a 9.5. I think he's damn near perfect. If not, I might just be nitpicking a little bit when I say he's still for me, a little bit too short. I think it's the only thing hurting him, but still 9 inches is pretty big. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's pretty much going to wrap up my review of the DC Universe Classics Collect and Connect Solomon Grundy figure. Go pick them up. I suggest it. 2 thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys on the flip side.